game fans! Now, I seem to have spent a lot of time hiding in a locker recently. And as I sat there in the dark waiting for my impending death, I had a moment to think about how long games actually are nowadays. And as I worked through the missions and side quests of Alien Isolation, I realised that I had spent in excess of 30 hours in a perpetual state of tension. This was not good for my 30-something heart. But as the end was in sight and I blasted the offending xenomorph into space, I started considering my next foray into big games. Now, I wondered if my next game would be such an epic life consumer. Now, this choice was going to take some time and a bit of research, so I had a look to see which ones were the longest games on Xbox One, and I put together a list just for you. Now, some of these I've played, and some of these I'm yet to enjoy, but these are the next selection of my next big games.
So for this, I really wanted to look at the main story with the odd additional quest and the odd little side medal or unlockable. So it's really for the casual gamer, how long the casual gamer tends to play, not the completionist, but just the average gamer. So I'm going to kick off this one with the first one, Witcher Wild Hunt. This is between 60 and 300 hours of gameplay where you roam the vast open world of the Northern Realms as the monster hunter Garrick in this fantastic third-person adventure game. It's a few hundred hours definitely well spent. Dragon Age Inquisition. Now this third installment of the Dragon Age saga looks lovely and has plenty of quests to keep you busy for well over 80 hours. Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2 rocks up at 82 hours. There is so much to see and do on this planet. You can meet new people, you can make friends, but most importantly, you can shoot the numbers out of them. A cool 80-hour epic to keep any first-person shooter fan happy. Dark Souls 2. Now this game hates you. It hates your family. It hates everything about you. This is torture in a box, and yet it is so strangely addictive, if a touch frustrating. Forza Motorsport 5. For all the petrol heads among us, and you could spend almost 70 hours building up your car collection, racing it in an array of different locations across the world. It is the best racing game out on the Xbox One. GTA 5. Whilst a leisurely playthrough of the main game can take up to about 40 hours, most will tend to spend days roaming the city and playing online and doing all the online heists and building your own courses and tracks and stuff. It is a massive game if you open that Pandora's box, but if you just want to stick to the quest, then you're looking at around 43 hours to complete. Warriors OROCHI 3 Ultimate. Time-travelling hack and slash that sees you put your warrior against entire armies. I mean, that is no small feat, so expect to spend about 43 hours slicing and dicing an array of different armies. Halo Master Chief Collection. With 4 full games and the ODST for those early adopters, this game takes a good 40 hours to work through. However, being Master Chief, it is so much fun, so the time will just fly by. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Now AC4 is the first AAA title to be given away for free on the Xbox Games with Gold initiative, and it is one of the best in the series. The gameplay is varied and you will get a kick out of doing all of the sailing. The game is full of both story and side missions, but if you don't stray too far from the main story, you can expect to put almost 40 hours in it to complete it. Watch Dogs. Now Watch Dogs was a victim of its own hype. The pre-release E3 footage looked amazing. All the timed PR releases made it sound like the perfect game, but ultimately the final product was full of bugs. It had downgraded graphics and had lots of content behind DLC or tied up with shop agreements. However, if you disregard all of that hype, it's actually quite a fun game. And it has a decent story and plenty to do. The side missions might be plentiful, but don't let them distract you too much, because this takes about 30 hours to complete. Metro Redux, the bundle of Last Light and 2033. Now, the Metro games are based on the highly successful science fiction novel by Russian author Dmitry Glukhovsky. So expect a deep and compelling narrative, and the game sees you exploring the Moscow city metro in this post-apocalyptic Russia. It's dark, it's grimy, and it's full of mutants. That now brings us to our under 30-hour games. So I'm going to take a look at a few that are between 20 and 30 hours, starting with Assassin's Creed Unity. Sadly, I can't think of this game without seeing some creature with floating eyeballs and crazy hair. The early bugs that dominated the game's release dented its original launch, but for those that did enjoy the game and had little or no experience with the bugs, the game was both fun and substantial. Dying Light, around 27 hours. Techland has done a fabulous job of creating a detailed city with slums and ornate buildings and hundreds of zombies and marauders and survivors. The main story is simple and engaging, and when the sun goes down you can expect to empty your bowels. The melee combat is satisfying and the parkour is fantastic when you finally get used to the controls. Far Cry 4. Fancy going feral in the mountains of Kryat? Well, Far Cry 4 sees you skinning wild animals, taking down a corrupt dictator, and all you wanted to do was spread your father's ashes. This game takes about 27 hours, but it can be so much longer if you do many of the side quests. Alien Isolation. This is such a great game, but it can be so terrifying. Expect to spend a lot of time hiding under tables and hiding in lockers, because I really like this game, but I can't bring myself to say that I enjoyed it, as it was 24 hours in a fully stressed out state. So good, but stressful. Lords of the Fallen. Lords of the Fallen is a hardcore action RPG featuring an advanced combat system and robust class skill trees. It's set in this fantasy world where the gods have failed mankind, and you kind of play this human named Harkin who sets out on this quest, but at 23 hours it takes a lot less time than Dark Souls 2, but sadly it's only half the fun. Destiny. Now, around 20 hours will just about cover the tip of the iceberg. After 20 hours you'll have reached level 30 and be ready to go on that ongoing slog that is Destiny. The shooting mechanics are sweet, and the headshot showers and the constant loot is as addictive as any fruit machine. Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition. This surprise hit from 2012 has been lovingly remastered for the Xbox One and is an open world action adventure. This GTA-style Mafia game is packed full of collectibles should you want to play for longer than the 23 hours. However, if you've not played the original, this is well worth a look. Dead Rising 3. 22 hours. This exclusive launch title showcased the power of the Xbox One, showing hundreds of independent zombies roaming the streets of Los Perdidos in California. The aesthetic is dark, but it is not short of lighter moments as you face crazy psychopaths, craft ridiculous weapons, and even insane vehicles. The main story with a few side quests will set you back around 22 hours. Middle-earth, TM, Shadow of Mordor, TM. This is about 21 hours. Another surprise hit, but this time from 2014. In the Shadow of Mordor, you play a ranger named Talion, who seeks revenge on the forces of Sauron after his family, including his wife, are killed. At 21 hours, this is actually a really fun game. The Nemesis mechanic is really interesting and sees previously vanquished foes return to exact their revenge at later parts of the game. Thief. Fancy sneaking around for 21 hours? Then Thief is for you. Thief is a stealth video game developed by Eidos Montreal. You control Garrett, a master thief, as he goes about a series of undercover and engaging missions. Most of all are focused around stealing from the rich. Some are more interesting than others, and fans of the original might be a little bit disappointed as the overall experience was decidedly average. So there you have it. If you like this long list of long games, then don't forget to like, don't forget to sub, and don't forget to comment, and I will be back with another video very soon.
Finish him!
Good doggy. Gordon, this is Dog. My dad built him to protect me when I was a kid. First model was about yay high. I've been adding to him ever since. Haven't I, boy?